Now it's time for another hitting indie gem or independent animation project that you never heard of. And today we're going to talk about is Enceladus V or Enceladus 5 if you will. But the reason why I want to talk about this is sort of kind of broke news a couple days ago or a week ago, depends when you heard it, is the fact Enceladus V or Enceladus 5 was sort of a pilot short dropped in TikTok, it will automatically demonetize because TikTok believes this project wasn't the original creator who actually made it. And you know what? It was completely wrong because the creator stands, yeah, I made it. I said the Bestie Kickstarter. I announced this over a year and a half ago. I did all the work, and you basically demonetize this person, especially this person have a total of 4.5 billion followers in TikTok. And that's just sort of weird, but yet also when you see the short you get it what TikTok believes she shouldn't have done this. It's almost impossible. In fact, the thing they did almost became like bragging rights because the animation short was so good that you kind of hard to believe this content creator actually did the project, even that she actually did work on actually high profile animation project like Husband Hotel or Tango Adventure. Those specific high project she actually worked on it. So it sort of makes sense this indie project it was done so well, especially how much money she asked to make this sort of small project, a total of $14,000, and that's all she really asked. And that's very little budget. I mean, believe me, that's almost amazing. See how much she actually asked, and you see the results she actually gave out. Even that this pilot was only about 3 to 4 minutes long, it's just so impressive. Even that. Usually they ask about maybe 50 to 100 grand because they actually trying to do maybe 20 or 30-minute projects. She only asked for 14. That's kind of cheap. It also shows how well a animator she really is. It also know how to spend the money the correct way. But to be fair, her project is about 3 to 2 minutes long. It also sort of makes sense the reason why she chose that specific amount because how the project how you supposed to execute it. Of course, before I continue, my name is Rachel. I like to talk about animation, not just animation reviews, first impressions, cartoon theories, and sometimes, if I have some spare time, cartoon breaking news. Of course, you like how it's going, like to help my channel, put a like, comment, and subscribe. That's the only thing you need to do. If not, that's cool. If you do, thank you. Because of you, I'm getting close to my main goal of 2,000 subscribers. And yes, I'm getting close every single day because of people put like, comment, and share. Thank you. Now let's get started with this indie project called Enceladus V or 5, whichever you prefer. But this is a very interesting project because the whole pitch of this is basically the planet is dying. Everybody decided to unite and create a new basically ship so everybody could go in, but this ship fails multiple times. They took about 5 times to create the perfect ship, so they allowed them to move another complete planet. Do this time 5 generations later, if I'm correct, it's the 5th generation or 8th generation. But although that, they actually sort of figure out how to use kind of trying a time travel video, not trying to travel yourself. They sort of do TikTok's video in the future, deliver it back in the past so people can watch see what's going on. And that is the gimmick that grabs your attention. It also makes sense when you actually start watching the first pilot. It completely throws you in the whole thing. Like, you really don't get introduction, you don't know who is who, just things are happening. In fact, this simple 3 to 4 minute pilot follows the rules of 33 and 3 minute rule. If you never heard that rule, basically you have 3 seconds to grab your attention. That means the art had to be so good, you're willing to give it another 30 seconds to see what's gonna happen next. The 30 second mark is especially the dialogue or action. Whatever they say or do must intrigue you. It also introduced the character in the same time to be invested. And the 3 minute mark, especially, you completely sold the viewers to actually stick to it to finish the whole pilot or the whole show. And that's how you basically grasp people's attention if you don't have time or if you don't know how to approach a project. Think of that sort of unspoken rule: 3:33 and 3 minutes. And that usually works all the time. Just have to remember, introduce the first 3 seconds, something impactful, something it grabs your attention. And this pilot, it does. Because Enceladus V, when it starts, you find the character Andy, even that they don't say her name, you have to quite literally look in the Kickstarter to find her name, that she was sort of dodging basically bullets or laser beams with a different person who used to be her friend, who called, I think, Kat, if I'm right. I'm completely wrong. I think it was Andy and Kiv, there we go. That he's the one who basically shooting at her, and she's just wondering, why you portray me, why you kill all our friends. And it's sort of obvious how Kite says, I'm just using you to get what I want. And that's it. That's the only information you have the first 3 seconds. That automatically grab your attention because you sit inside the action, wondering, trying to figure out what's going on. A very unique trick to entice people to just stay on and watch it. On top of this, it also does the animation so good that you're just wondering what this is actually is anime. What anime is this? In fact, it's not really a anime. It's like a Western cartoon that is sort of interesting because the more they keep talking, the more you realize this is a Sailor cartoon version of it because the dialogue is just so cheesy, but also kind of notice a few other things under the next 30 seconds. One, how some of the characters' weapons clearly does not match the situation they actually are into. Like they're in space in the basically a meteor shower, but they are fighting. But one character wearing a cap, the other character has a laser piece, changes to a sort of kind of like a fork, not like a fork. It's a sort of scythe, laser scythe. That'll be okay because you see other anime show doing it in outer space, but it makes sense in that sort of art style. But this doesn't. They keep leading you hints here and there that actually tells you something is up, but you don't know what, till everything ends the next 30 seconds because you realize this whole thing was sort of a test, a sort of experiment how two people would survive in sort of a meteor shower. So all this time you're watching sort of like a kind of like a play on these two space cadets who attempted to sort of kind of do sort of like a project figuring out how to survive this sort of scenario. And that's an interesting part because the whole thing you're watching is done as sort of a cell phone sort of point of view. Like you see some recording because that is the point, because the space cadets are actually recording on their phone and uploading in the past to show you what's going on in their training. On top of this, in the Kickstarter, they say there is a bigger story coming soon. Each single short they pop out, and that's just the interesting part because you do understand and relate to these characters under 30 minutes because I'm not 30 minutes, under 3 minutes. I apologize there. I'm a little bit trippy if you have not noticed. But other than that, that's the thing. It's just sort of kind of fun because you feel you in the joke. You feel you are watching this sort of cadets figuring out, working out, doing something sort of stupid, something just a log of a bunch of people doing their work and hoping they're improving in the near future. But you're introducing each specific characters like Andy, the tomboy little girl, or not girl, she's like her in her 20s or 22 now words, that she is just sort of very enthusiastic but not annoying. She's just very campy. That's the best way to describe it. You also have Kite, who is sort of serious, kind of like a Cinderella male version, that 100% sure a lot of ladies will do a lot of art of him. But other than that, I do enjoy this because this give me vibes sort of Star Trek Lower Deck, but in a good way. I mean, Star Trek Lower Deck wasn't a very good beginner Star Trek animated series. It's one of those, it kind of trip and fall because it was trying too hard to actually figure out what they did wrong. They improved. That's the best way to describe it. But I always have issue with that project because I feel that what should be in the schools district where they start to be cadets, then join the Starfleet. And I feel that's sort of a misstep doing that beginning project till they figure out how to figure out what to do. And Enceladus 5 or Enceladus V did exact same thing as Star Trek Lower Deck, but did something that I actually wanted to see. That sort of inner monologue with two people, but feel more realistic. They're still rookies. They're still playing around. They understand they have responsibilities, but call it out what little mistakes they do. But they have that sort of community. Even that, this was sort of 3 minutes. They nailed that sort of goofiness, that seriousness. They know they need to take it serious, but not to when to have fun with it. And that's the thing. And just grab you so well. Have that sort of funness, that sort of low deck kind of forgot the very beginning and figure out what to do later on in the future. This one feels exactly like that, but done so much better. In fact, I wish this was sort of picked up, becoming sort of a Star Trek sort of spin-off, because this one feels something you made for Star Trek. But of course, that's just me. But I don't know you. Have you seen this short? Because it's just 3 minutes. That 3 minutes really commits me to continue watching this sort of pilots or little mini series they actually made, because possibly there'll be a couple more, but we don't know. They gotta keep making more because of the incident of TikTok, because they kind of was demonetized, so you don't know they are making more or not. But be aware, if you want to watch this, watch this on YouTube and describe on YouTube, because YouTube have more better handling paying their basically creators better than TikTok. But to be fair, I see why they stay in TikTok, because she has a huge following there, but she can easily get basically commercial deals. In other words, that she be successful, other people want to sell her products and the show, so she can pay and keep doing the show. So they sort of kind of even trade, but at the same time not really, because TikTok doesn't really pay you that well. Last time I heard, like the very beginning, they opened the program on TikTok, they pay you about $300 or $200. That was on Mr. Beast's channel. That I remember they made a big new statement with Mr. Beast, like he decided to quit TikTok because it's not worth it. You just pay $200 or $300. So yeah, the only way you actually get paid, at least efficiently, to survive, you have to basically have a good deal commercials with products or different companies. That's the only way you can survive in TikTok. And that's why I recommend, if you want to support this specific anime series, go to 1111 Animation. That's on their channel on YouTube. That's the best place to subscribe, like, and comment on their stuff, because that's the only way they actually get officially paid, at least decently, and at least you don't have to be worried they demonetize over there in TikTok. But all of that, I highly recommend it because it is charming. It's one of those things, it's so well thought up. When you watch it, it doesn't tell you anything, you just sort of observe the situation, because it doesn't help your hand. If you want to know more, just have to do your homework. You have to read the plot, but it's something that you don't need to read the plot, because the characters are kind of charming, interesting, because how the whole thing is done as sort of a TikTok cell phone point of view. They use this sort of just a blog, and they don't have a story. That every time they talk, they drop some hints, so scenarios, make things interesting. And that's why they make it sort of special watching this kind of pilot, or web series, because it is a very interesting web series that hopefully it gets more to do or get picked up in the near future, because this thing has so much potential. I hope, I wish the creator gets lucky and actually someone wants to buy this project from her, because this thing has so much potential to be great. But at the same time, who knows? Maybe the creator doesn't want to sell it. It's one of those things, if you sell it, you lose control, because it all depends on the higher ups what they want it for. Sometimes they want you to remove some ideas or add ideas and could basically break the show. And that's sort of the problem, that you want to stay indie or you want to risk it all to see what happens next. It's all about depends on you now words. But all of that, have you ever heard of this Enceladus V animated project? Tell me down below, let me know. I got nothing else to say, just thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and have a wonderful day. Bye.